For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za. Hello and welcome to iDiskiTV. My name is Nkululeko. I'm with Lindo Pep and Sibata. Thank you very much for joining us. Please make sure you are subscribed to iDiskiTV. Please make sure you like and you agree or disagree with our content. So it's Stellenbosch, it's Kaizer Chiefs, and Mamelodi Sundowns with Lindo Pep. We'll discuss what are the realistic prospects of all of these South African teams in the CAF competitions. What will Sundowns achieve in the CAF Champions League? What will Stellenbosch achieve in the Confederations Cup? They were in the semi-finals last time around. And what will Kaizer Chiefs achieve in the Confederations Cup as well? And then later on, for a few minutes, we'll reflect on could Orlando Pirates have done anything better in their game? And of course, as you would have seen from our videos as well, I kind of struggled to compartmentalize it, to look at it as a failure. Because if you beat someone 3-0 and you take it to penalties, surely that can't be seen as a failure. I can understand on social media, fans will always have banter amongst each other because they are desperate to laugh at each other. But generally speaking, those of us who get paid and make money from football, we're supposed to see it different. That this is a team, they scored 3 goals, they won 3-0. You cannot see that as a failure, whatever we say. They failed to get to the semi-finals. Of course, that's true, but that can't be a failure. That particular match cannot be seen as a failure. You can't score 3 goals against an opponent that was playing defensively and still be viewed as a failure. For fans, they can do whatever they want to do on social media. That's what they do, and that's what they will always do. So we'll reflect on that. Lindo Pep, thank you very much for joining us, sir. Stellenbosch, Kaizer Chiefs, and Mamelodi Sundowns. Let's talk about them. Let's start with Stellenbosch. They were in the semi-finals last time around in CAF competitions. They are now back in the group stages of the Confederations Cup. Last week we spoke about the negative impact of focusing on the Confederations Cup and what that does for you in league form. Just very quickly, what do you expect from them?
Yeah, Mr. Nkewu, let me greet you and the iDiskiTV nation.
Yes, sir.
I hope you're well. Yeah, Mr. Nkewu, it's been
I greet you all in the name of peace. In 1990, when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, a man who was carrying his microphone is a man who's currently the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. It was at the Cape Town City Hall, the former library in Cape Town. Every time when you say, "Let me greet you," it reminds me that the first thing that Nelson Mandela said in that speech was, "I greet you all in the name of peace." And that was a listening comprehension in high school, where when I was in high school, you had to listen to that, and then they would give you the script of what he said, and then they would take out some of the words. You would have to fill it in. So he would say, I think it was saying, "Friends, my people, I greet you all in the name of peace."
Yeah.
Lovely to have you here, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Nkewu, as always. A weekend of highs and lows in South African
fake history lesson.
Yeah. but a weekend of high and lows, Mr. Nkewu. But sure. Congratulations to 3 of our teams that got not just wins, but statement wins, in my opinion. You look at Stellenbosch winning 4-1, Mamelodi Sundowns 7.
Stick to Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch, yeah. But Mr. Nkewu, Stellenbosch, for me, in my opinion, this competition is nobody's expecting them to win it. But I think it's about exposure and experience. For me, every minute that those Stellenbosch players will play is gold dust for their development.
If they were semi-finals last season,
yeah.
What is the expectation this season?
Because they always sell players. They've got a different policy. That's why you need to give credit to that Stellenbosch project, Mr. Nkewu, because they've done exceptional work in terms of the players that they've integrated from DDC to signing some exceptional players. But in my opinion, Mr. Nkewu, it's more than just winning for them. I think it's about the development of their players, and as well as, I think, the brand exposure, which for me is important. And I think it gives Stevie Parker, another layer into his career where he can actually be a continental coach.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point, that if he's speaking to a club.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the next best place for him cannot be. So it was Amatax, Pretoria University, promoted them to the PSL, not the PSL, but to the Premiership from the NFD. He coached them, and then he left them at some point. Yeah. He's been at Stellenbosch now. They were celebrating 300 matches of him being a top-flight professional coach. The next job for him, because of what he's doing continentally, should be a top 4 team.
Mr. Nkewu, he's always produced players for the big 3 clubs. He's sold players, Abo Penyo, Mielo, who the number 8 on my Dressberg, Pirates.
Penyo Mungalo.
Mungalo, Abo Yende. He's
Yeah.
done it again now. I think another progression of his personal coaching career is to prove to football clubs that he's a winning coach. He's a serial winner.
And he's won trophies. He's won, I think, the Culling Black Label. He won either 2023 or, he's won the Culling Black Label. Remember the All-Star game?
Yeah, for sure, against TS Galaxy.
Yes. So, okay, let's go back to on topic. With Stellenbosch, if they were in the semi-finals last time, where do you expect them to end now?
I think for me, I'm not expecting them to do anything better than what they did last year. I think reaching the semi-final was a success. If they do reach the semi-final, it would be success. Quarterfinals, they've lost a lot of players, Mr. Nkewu.
Yeah.
For me, quarterfinals, semi-finals will always be success at Stellenbosch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the draw as well. The draw apparently is on the 3rd of November. That means next Monday. I thought it was this Monday. Next week, Monday. It will be here in South Africa. Here, actually, literally, not far. It's a walking distance from the SuperSport building. I think they say it's going to be at the SuperSport building. We look at Kaizer Chiefs then. I was thinking even about the draw as well, but we can't dwell too much into it. I want us to focus just on these 3 teams. How far can they go? Kaizer Chiefs are guaranteed 6 matches, just like Stellenbosch and Sundowns in the group stages. We were speaking about them last week about whether or not they need to focus at home. Can they handle the load of 2 different competitions? It looks like from the way that the names are drawn on the pots and the rankings, they will definitely be traveling to North Africa. They will have 1 North African team in their group, and so on. And then they will have other teams as well. Hopefully, if they were allowed, they could even draw Stellenbosch so that they don't have to travel 3 different countries. But nonetheless, what do you expect from Chiefs? Do you like so far what they've done? We conferred.
Mr. Nkewu, I call it the psychological boost. More especially for that football club and its fans, in particular, for the players as well. Mr. Nkewu, it was not pretty, but it was very effective. Kaizer Chiefs has not been convincing, but it's been very effective. They're a team that creates a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. In my opinion, they should have won the away game. But for me, I'm looking at the fact that that competition, as well, just like Stellenbosch, Kaizer Chiefs has a lot of development players. But Petabom too, but Petabom Fundo Vilagazi, they've got Abo Kanyisa Mayo. They need continental experience. But Petabo Kwinika and so many players in that Kaizer Chiefs team that, for me, every minute as well that Kaizer Chiefs team will play in the CAF Champions League, those minutes are gold dust for the development of those players, because we need them. We've got AFCON, we've got the World Cup, and as well as Kaizer Chiefs from a tactical evolution and a player development perspective. They're in a different phase. All these 3 teams, Mr. Nkewu, that have qualified, they're in the different phase of their continental journey, in my opinion.
They have different expectations. From
and this, for me, for Kaizer Chiefs, is as well as experience, development. Already they do have the brand exposure. But now they need to, but Melababegi stamp as an African team. They need to be consistently there. They need presence in African competitions. It's important for so many things, for so many dynamics. For tactical evolution, player development, the team grows in terms of its how they manage the club, how the continuation.
I think you're making good points, and there's no disagreeing with what you're saying. I think that the question I keep on asking all of you guys is, can they handle both? Can they handle Confed and not suffer league?
Mr. Nkewu, they need that. They need both. They need both. And it begs the question.
That's a different answer. You're answering a different question.
Okay.
Can they handle it?
They can.
I agree with you, Gucci, I need and all of that, but can. Now, who can will need you to look at the squad and whether or not they can balance going. Sunday, you are playing in Africa, but you have to play Wednesday in South Africa. So can they be able to do? Do you trust that squad?
Maybe not the squad overall. They do have the players. The squad, obviously, they've got plus minus 35 players in the team. I think they've got 4 or 5 centre backs. They've got numerous midfielders. You have to talk about players like Lilepo. You have to talk about Mayu, Ikataro, the midfield options that they have. I saw yesterday the Protino Lebu Mabue. They've got the experience of Fukastin Serino, so they do have options in that space.
Sure.
For me, they've got Champions League players. Ulilepo, I was telling Ubowe yesterday that if at Kaizer Chiefs, there's a player at Mamelodi Sundowns, I would sign Mina personally. Aerial threat, left and right. He looks like a threat. Every time Agapeti Paula, he wants to take on someone. He wants to take a shot. He wants to initiate something. For me, he's a typical Champions League player. The goal is scored with his header, how he rises the box in. There's a period in the game where Shai quick counter press, he won the ball and he took a shot outside the box. You look at those qualities. That's what you need sometimes in the Champions League. That's why I always feel like they've got players to play CAF
So
Champions
they
League.
can
Mayo,
handle
they're for sure.
confederations
For sure.
plus the Betway.
Yeah.
All right, let's go then to Apo Kufele Konitole.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call it. Cut to the chase. What do you expect then? Semi-finals, or is it the end in the group stages? I'm sure as South Africans we would hope for more than just the group stages, but realistically, what do you expect?
I hope they use this also as a catalyst to their domestic competition. For me, success at Kaizer Chiefs in the Confederations Cup is winning it, to be honest with you, Mr. Nkewu. Because why are you not winning the thing if you are in it anyway? They only have 3 difficult fixtures, in my opinion. It's the Moroccan teams, it's the Algerian teams. If they do avoid the North African teams, they'll got a big
one
chance.
of them in the group. Maybe the trick is to go with them as number 1 and 2. They will get one of the North Africans.
God loves Kaizer Chiefs. God loves. They made it to the CAF Champions League final. God loves Kaizer Chiefs. Trust me. They might avoid all the big clear clubs.
Or they're going to get them in terms of a group. Because
Yeah.
pot 1 has like 4 North Africans.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Uti. When I'm making my calculation, Uti. But if the North Africans are number 1 in the group, if Zamalek becomes number 1 in the group, I think Wydad is there as well. Then Bakapene Ibaneng number 2.
Yeah.
And then you can whatever you get in the knockout phases.
Yeah, and then the fixture becomes important. But I think the only negative thing about this Kaizer Chiefs thing is that mina nawe sizochayisa ngo-1 o'clock. Because the fixtures
I'm
might
not
be
looking
at 10.
forward to the North Africans.
That's the only sad thing.
9, Pele 11, and it will nil.
You know?
Yeah, but anyways, it's a job. I don't want to demoralize people
Yeah,
already
for sure.
who want them to watch our videos. Let's go to Sundowns, win the Champions League.
Mr. Nkewu,
Asikwazi noba siyijika-jika, expectation, win the Champions League.
nothing else, Mr. Nkewu. You've got the squad. Firstly, Mr. Nkewu, let me give credit to the immensely under pressure Miguel Cardoso for the 2 performances in Nigeria.
Yesterday you gave him credit.
For me, the tie was wrapped up in Nigeria. For me, an incredible performance. And this will, when we talk about Pirates, we'll talk about it. Defensive organization, game management are solid at Mamelodi Sundowns. And this speaks to the football heritage at the football club. Don't underestimate the job that has been done over the years in the CAF Champions League. And it already, Mamelodi Sundowns have solidified themselves as the haunted favorites, in my opinion. I'll call them that because they're a team that has
It's always them and Al Ahly.
they destroy almost everybody.
It's always Sundowns and Al Ahly.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, assume one thing. It will be either Sundowns or Al Ahly. If there's any new faces, about Pyramids, about Bani, then they come from nowhere. But in terms of teams that everyone is looking to beat, it's always going to be Sundowns and Al Ahly.
Mr. Nkewu, the league is the bread and butter of Mamelodi Sundowns. Number 2, the CAF Champions League has become so important because also you need to consider the fact that it's no longer about ambition. I think it's a business imperative as well.
Yeah,
because there's
the
Club
World Cup
Cup.
has a lot of money.
And also, we need to be aware it's an AFCON year and a World Cup year. This becomes a very big year for us in African football. But also, you have to speak about the base of the team. For me, you're speaking about the base of the team looks solid. You look at the spine, Ronan Williams, the 2 centre-back, Tebogo Mokoena, the striker. Considering the fact that the squad depth is frightening, Umshishi is not in that space. You're talking about now they've added Tobo Nuno, who looks really, really like a great addition into that Mamelodi Sundowns team. You're talking about the fact that the Urenas hasn't played the CAF Champions League this season. So Umvala becomes important because of the bully, the arrogance. He helps us with defending. That's the word. Physicality in the CAF Champions League because there's so many things that you deal with in the CAF Champions League. You need the experience in terms of managing a game, the defensive organization. You need goal scorers.
Did he play yesterday?
Yes, he did.
Grant. And I was looking.
Well. Played very, very well. Looked convincing.
That's what you need to fix. I think if we were looking at where are the areas of growth and fixing, with Sundowns, it's always going to be defense. I think that if you use Umalibongo Khoza sparingly, use him in domestic competitions, let him grow because people have to develop and grow. I think he's earned enough caps so far in Champions League, and then you just use him in the league. Your areas for improvement are your defense. There's going to have to come a time where you accept that you don't have to attack with Umodiba. You don't have to attack with him. Golden Arrows showed us how to beat Sundowns. And it was simple. It was because Sundowns showed Golden Arrows how to beat themselves, which is to say that every time Umodiba leaves his position, Nomodao, because you want to attack with those fullbacks, there were spaces for Rundlovu and Khumalo behind them, and that's how Golden Arrows beat Sundowns. And I think that African teams, those who with brains, half a brain,
Yeah.
they will be able to study that and say these are the areas of opportunity.
And-
All you need to do is to have leadership at the back. If you have a Grand Kekana
Yeah.
back, he pairs up with a Cupido, he pairs
Yeah.
up with your left footer.
Oprah Modiba.
The centre back.
Centre
sorry.
back, Libusa.
Yes, Musa Libusa. Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah.
So you have decent options there.
Yeah.
If you solidify there, you are maybe a semi-finalist already.
Yeah.
All you need to fix is your back.
Mr. Nkewu, and as well as, I don't want to underestimate the job that the orchestra, Yenza Umakiselo Alend, I think has been exceptional this season. Let me be honest with you. Let me tell you something, Mr. Nkewu. We've always wanted a Masolo Alende that plays the way he's been playing in the recent weeks, because he becomes an important and an integral part of that Mamelodi Sundowns stabilizing space, where sometimes we need to break a low block and we need an extra midfielder to join in the box. Because sometimes, yes, you can attack with 5, but there's games where you need a late run in the box, you need a dead-man run, you need somebody who can take shots outside the box. Mr. Nkewu, what Sundowns needs is not only the defensive organization, it's also the variation in attack. We can't look predictable at times, you know, where we get into certain progressive lines and we want to play the same ball over and over again, which for me was African teams, they are smart. They've got the analysts.
Eventually, when they do a low
they'll
block,
catch up with you.
Yeah, when they do it, because they did it to Coach Rulani, that they decided we're just going to defend. It is up to you to solve the problem.
Mr. Nkewu, football is so subjective and it's a game of opinion, I agree. Because you have a dribbling wizard, you know, Lucas Ribeiro. You're thinking to yourself, yes, you've got the best player in Africa, Lucas Ribeiro, dribbles to eliminate. But now you don't have that. And now you have Ununo, who's more of a passer, who can pick a pass. He doesn't delay the ball. So now you ask yourself, now you're watching Sundowns, you feel like the missing puzzle is that dribbling wizard.
Yeah.
And last season, you felt like the missing puzzle is a Nuno.
Well, I suppose the answer is to have both of them at the same time. Unfortunately, you can't.
Yeah.
We can't get away from the fact that the expectation is win the Champions League.
Mr. Nkewu, nothing less. For me, success at Mamelodi Sundowns is Miguel Cardoso winning the treble, and that treble comes with a major trophy in him winning the CAF Champions League.
All right, there you are. Let's wrap it up then with Orlando Pirates. For Pirates fans, it's a post-mortem. We did it with the Bobo, speaking about some of the aspects of the game. With you, I'm going to ask, could they have done anything better? As a journalist, as someone who is an opinion maker, there were two things I was asking for the past 7 days. I asked, if Pirates were in the semi-finals last time, would this be a failure if he fails to go past the second round? Clearly, it is a failure in that limited perspective. If Orlando Pirates now scores 3 goals in a game and they beat St. Elo Lipopo 3-0 in full time, can we still see that as a failure? And my answer to myself is that it's not a failure. It's a failure to get to the semi-finals, but it's not a failure. Is there anything they could have done better as we look back? We did the videos when we did them, but as we look back, is there anything they could have done better? How should they reflect on this?
Mr. Nkewu, firstly, let's speak about the tactical gamble. And I will land to the point.
Sure.
For me, the tactical gamble is, and this is a conversation that will be heard until maybe people forget about this CAF Champions League thing, is should he have started with a striker? And I'll get to this point. For me, the game plan was very clear. He wanted to attack with 3 number 10s that wanted to break the defensive wall. But for me, the game was not lost at Orlando Stadium. The game was lost at Congo, at DRC Congo. The inability of the defensive compactness and the defensive discipline, the inability to manage a game from the Orlando Pirates team and players and the technical team as well is where they lost the game. But you cannot crucify a coach and the football club and players for losing a single match. Coming into the game on Saturday, Mr. Nkewu, the big question at Orlando Pirates is, Orlando Pirates is a super squad. They've got a super team. But when you watch them, you always get this feeling that there's one missing puzzle. Who is going to score them 15 to 20 goals? And what they could have done better, in my opinion, is they needed a fox in the box. They needed somebody who doesn't need 2 or 3 chances to score. They needed that one player who always takes the responsibility. I will score the goals for this huge football club. That's what was missing for Orlando Pirates, in my opinion. They need a ruthless number 9, a clinical number 9, a person who has the character and the ability to make sure that he wants to win big and major trophies for that football club, and that's the missing puzzle. In terms of the tactical gamble and approach from the coach, you cannot crucify the coach, because the coach initially in the first half, he was looking for a controlled chaos. He got that. He created opportunities. They scored a goal. They were joining in the box a little bit late. In the second half, he makes tactical changes. He's now not looking for dribbles. He's looking for a deep and a variation of a pass, which is he brings in Nukabelo Dlamini. Nukabelo offers you a variation of passing balls. And then introduce Mbutuma, who was impactful, in my opinion, from playing from a first ball and a second ball and that presence. And he scores a crucial goal. He scores a goal exactly where you were speaking about, where just stay there. Just be central there in between the centre backs. He flicks the ball, attacks the ball in the first half. So for me, they lost the goal, the game in penalties, but the game was not lost at Orlando Stadium. It was lost at Congo. And it's a big lesson for your Orlando Pirates team. Gold dust as well, in my opinion. That's why I love the Champions League, because for player development, look at what happened to Nkota. Look at what has happened to the career of Furile Mfokeng. Tito Maswangai, for me, has progressed in his career. So many of those Orlando Pirates players have seen an improvement, because 2 seasons ago, Mr. Nkewu, we did not see the Orlando Pirates players like that. The fighting, the hunger, the willingness. The Champions League has done something into that football club.
This Pirates, perhaps, just to summarize what you're saying, this Pirates would not draw or lose to Jwaneng Galaxy anymore. That speaks to the progression that once upon a time they were knocked out by Jwaneng Galaxy. If you ask this Pirates, this current squad, the lessons that they've learned, they will never lose to a Jwaneng Galaxy. And that speaks to how much they've grown. And I think it's difficult to look at it as a failure, other than failing to maintain that semi-final.
For sure. Mr. Nkewu, another thing, how football fans and the football fraternity works, nobody speaks about Rivero having lost the league and the Champions League. Last season, we were sitting here together. He was 2-1 in the second half, 78 minutes. And he introduces Tito Nodlamene. But nobody will speak about that. When you speak about Rivero, they say he won the Nedbank Cup.
He was a winning coach.
He won the MTN 8. 2 seasons from now. That's why I said, when I was speaking, I said it's important for him now how you define the Orlando Pirates season. If he wins the Carling Black Label, he wins the Nedbank Cup, 2 seasons from now, people will say, he won us this.
That is a winning coach.
Nobody will remember that he lost against Ilupopo. So that's how football, unfortunately, is. And I'm hoping that the Orlando Pirates players, fans, the club will quickly move on from this, even though it's a huge disappointment. But looking at this, looking at the end of the season, if he wins the trophies that he has to win, they will never look at his failures. Because now you're talking about Joseph Zimbabwe. Nobody says how bad of that season was. People say he won the MTN 8.
Jose Rivero.
Not only Jose Rivero, even Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, even himself.
Yeah, even himself.
Won the MTN 8. I think it was against Celtic or something.
No, it's Kukune.
I can't remember.
It's Kukune. I remember that lodge. If people will correct us, it's okay.
No, thank you so much, man. I love the intervention with Pirates. We'll be back with Orlando Pirates as well tomorrow. They're playing against Imagesi, and that's iDiskiTV this week. Of course, Friday's Chiefs, Durban Stars or Durban City, sorry. And then it's a big one. So Orlando Pirates against Mamelodi Sundowns as well on Saturday. Thank you very much, Guardiola. Thank you very much, Nkululeko, and thank you very much, everyone, for watching us. For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.